So I'm gonna do a different kind of video. I wrote a short story for a friend for a birthday kind of gag type deal. I did this for her, and as a bit of a preamble or background, she is a wonderful young gal who occasionally does dog sitting, like private house and pet care. And I would like to say that one of these characters is a mimic of sorts. If you remember a D&D character, how it can transform into other objects, that's kind of what we're looking for here. I will say it's poorly written. This was made as a joke in the style of like a Chuck Tingle or a bad erotic fan fiction. And we're definitely using the not for children tag here. So let's jump right in. I'm a lesbian dog sitter trying my best in this hard plastic city. It's just one more night. Just another night with no impact, no stress, but of course, no sleep. I thought, climbing the stairs of a quaint and unassuming skyline condo just outside of the city, noting the rather rockiness of the path on the size 8 extended thigh-high Converse shoes. Not a single flower along the sidewalks, near the street, or in the tree lawn in the city, so much more obsessed with solemnity and uniform grayness. I had settled in on the sofa of the relative strangers, a client who'd requested their animals were taken care of, their house attended to, and their possessions remaining relatively intact while they went to foreign lands, perhaps to mend soured relationships, perhaps, to collectively plague the internet with travel photos, all too luxurious and foreign for most, or most likely to settle in bed next to each other, completely together, but separated by feet and metaphorical miles in the shared bed. Still alone. It wasn't that overwhelming existential fears were my focus, or even really something I consciously received, but the thoughts were tangible each bottle of wine that was opened. Each night closer to everyone's inevitable death. Easing myself from a top too entirely tight for my breasts, removing jeans entirely too stressful to wear, pouring out a glass of red wine into a coffee cup that brazenly said, "World's best data entry specialist for a 9 to 5 hell." This was my time. There was less poetry in the night, frankly speaking, tits out. Perhaps a neighbor saw a fleeing ass cheek as I attempted to swiftly retreat to the bath, carelessly spilling a small amount of wine onto the floor of these strangers. I was here to take care of the dogs, but that was already done. Entering the bath, I had a playlist set on Spotify, then realized that destroyed the artists who I loved, and I instead switched to a better platform with no issues in treatment. The YouTube, quote, anime theme song plus rap compilation, end quote, compilation or playlists. And, quote, reasons I'd fuck Benjamin Button, end quote, explanations videos were set. The tub was filling, having stripped fully at this point, readying my coffee cup holster on the toilet seat, and the phone angled upwards, faced against a coiled toilet. Oh, fuck! I knew I forgot something. The waterproof vibrator that was newly ordered from an adult bookstore was in my purse, out by the now crated dogs and in the living room, a place I knew I left the curtains open. Removing myself entirely from the very concept of modesty, I ran towards the living room, pussy almost flapping in the wind gust. That was the speed of a girl who's, quote, gotta get that cream dream, end quote. Searching the living room for a bag, I had left a suspicious sense of being watched. I had felt, a suspicious sense of being watched gain over me. Through a closer inspection of the room and closing the blinds, it did slightly cure this, or maybe this was just my own imagination. Like that Cranberry song about searching for a vibrator? Searching the handbag, all while listening to the distant tune of water hitting a porcelain oasis. There was nothing. Well, there was hygiene pads, 3 distinct makeups for various levels of slutty activities, a handbook of sketches, headphones missing one of the soft earbud covers, and every receipt I had ever received in my life up until this point. But no small battery-operated devices. The mood was killed, not out of the singular moment, but more the general malaise of life, and the idea that I was drinking a stranger's wine in their bathtub. I fully anticipated splashing my tight clit with electrical devices while doing so, but that would wait. Defeated, ultimately floating naked, my body rests in the tub long after growing cold, knowing that the night was ruined just before my birthday. Of note, there was nothing special in the moment, but it was the making it special which was what mattered in the moment. Vanquished and defeated, my thong-covered body lied down to the couch, a slumped mess of 20-something's angst, fighting her invisible wars with Netflix gently checking in by asking, "Are you still watching the end of the fucking world?" It was a subtle noise that broke the already fairly broken silence. "I'm so sorry to say this, but normally I'd give you more wine if you're going to just sit on my face." I shot up upon hearing the soft and almost muffled voice, angrily ready to defend myself against this girlish attacker. I grasped the only thing that was close to me, which may be considered a weapon, a red stain-bearing coffee cup, and a universal Samsung HD smart TV remote. There was no bodies in the shadows of the late night, no outright sign of intruders to this foreign home. A castle not my own, but that minimum wages said I would need to be the vanguard of. A murmur of the voice was slightly less exaggerated. "Actually, I'm down here, sweetie," I heard. Looking down, there was a small raised section of a couch cushion I had just draped my body over, which again raised when it said, "Hi, I'm Sophie." Sophie? Are you... This is gonna sound stupid because I'm not really drunk and I'm not high, but are you in the couch? I asked, still concerned. "Well, you can be in a couch if you play your cards right, Missy. But no, I am the couch. Look, it's a long story, but I'm a talking couch. Morocco's a weird fucking country, alright?" I felt so many things, not the first of which was a general concern at this couch being seemingly alive. The concerns as to its very forward sexual suggestions, or maybe whether the comments about its origins was somehow considered racist or perhaps xenophobic, and maybe authors should avoid that. The talking couch appeared to manipulate the middle flap while imitating speech, each time lifting a cushion to reveal a sharp row of very delicate teeth, though relatively small, and with a tongue at the center of them all that was a couch cushion. "I don't bite, sweetie," the couch had said, no doubt noticing my staring into its innermost makeup. "In fact, feel free to sit." Hesitant to immediately sit an ass upon the living furniture, I took a stance on one knee and I smoothed my hand over the suede surface. "Sophie, does it hurt when I sit on you?" I had asked. "No, it only hurts that you wouldn't now, cutie." That sort of crappy pickup line was more in line with a frat boy or some of the Tinderellas I had kept in my harem of ever-growing penis providers and, quote, lily lickers that were more one-night stands or casual friends with benefits. Perhaps noticing the reaction of a scrunched face, the subtle movement of facial piercings, or a shift backwards, Sophie ejaculated a hesitant but very quick, I was joking, I'm sorry, I'm not... I mean, you're the first human besides the couple that gave me any physical attention, is all." "Sophie, I think it's sweet that you're worried. I just haven't done anything with a cushion before. I'm not really sure how this would work." Which may have very well flustered the couch, as several cushions raised up at the same time, and a visible increase of heat could be felt from the cushion I was still rubbing, unintentionally, mind you, to feel the texture of a sentient couch's skin. "So, I'm interested, but you'll need to tell me what that would be exactly." Sophie let out what seemed to be an exciting, "Oh, oh, okay, well, just a minute. Just sit right there if you mean it." At the suggestion, I took a seat in the middle of Sophie's middle cushion, uncertain as to what this would mean. The cushion had appeared to meld or otherwise change from under me, as a voided space showed itself where I was sitting, gently cradling my buttocks, warm and moist, but in a comfortable sense, almost analogous to a tongue. I sensed that Sophie likely would not be able to communicate verbally, but more so with a general movement of the tongue, that lashed from the darkened voice's space. I felt her state all she needed to as she gently curled her extended tongue, wrapping it from the inner space of my left thigh and slowly moving towards my baby chute. Sophie's tongue emanated a heat against my tight black lace thong, tightening its coils around my thighs as it slowly and with very intentional care licked my openings, stimulating my pussy and my skin with its smooth but scaled texture. Moving aside the thong with the slide of its tongue from the left to the right, it kept my panties pulled over as it continued to lick, mimicking what felt like an alphabet, then moving ruggedly up and down, changing in speed accordance with my my moaning. Sophie, having noticed some of the intricacies of my womanhood, slowed down, licking with increased pressure to penetrate the smallest amount, going upward slowly and then wrapping the extended tongue towards my clit. My stomach churned slightly from the sheer anticipation, building towards a climax as the tongue formed a suctioned U shape and wrapped around, almost molding to my clit, continuing until a clear discharge and slumped figure showered her, and I was finished. Falling from my perch, Sophie had let on for a grappling, trying to catch me. I was only able to let out I hope it was good for you, sheepishly. Sophie, you have a tongue of a... Sophie, the next time this couple watches something on Animal Planet with an incredible or maybe a fascinating tongue, just imagine that that's what I'm trying to compliment you on. I'm a little bit cum-dumb right now, I said as I stumbled to the floor. We don't have to be done if you want to go further, I mean, the sentient couch cushion with a chameleon tongue had let out. What were you thinking? I asked, before even realizing it, attempting to stand, still slightly startled and gathering the strength. Go into the room. Go into the chest by the foot of the bed and grab the package that's on the bottom under a false cover, Sophie stated, matter-of-factly. Doing as instructed, I found a large, unwrapped cardboard box, which I had opened with Sophie. It was a set of plugs and a large-handled black marital aid, no less than the size of my dainty arm. Sophie, what are you planning? No sooner had I said that than the sentient couch had shot off the two cushions on its left and its right side, revealing another set of tongues, wrapping around the base of the objects and angling them towards my body. Knowing that Sophie was unable to speak while her cushions were open, I had assumed the position of bending near the couch, not fully sitting down, as it angled its tongue in a serpent-like fashion, darting forward and licking me fiercely, but still gently, whilst maintaining its grip on a plug and its oversized aid. Licking its center tongue along my thigh, moving up, breathing heavily on my pussy before licking me. It approached first with the plug, licking it as it slowly teased the entrance of my ass. A slow puckering of my taint pulled back against the toy as it went further and further in, all while held by the wrapped tongue of Sophie, maneuvering it clumsy from a jeweled handle meant for insertion, all toiling my asshole, my bent-over vision showing only the faintest etching of a black dildo moving closer to my other entrance. Perhaps jokingly, Sophie had whipped her left tongue holding the dildo, lashing it against my right ass cheek, with a clapping noise, leaving a mark, but I assume it was intended as just a playful jest. Sophie took the plug and continued to dig into my ass like a Brazilian mine shaft, taking away the dick whipping from our schedule so that she could slowly penetrate me with the large dildo. Fuck! I don't know if that's going to... Trying to explain to Sophie, to no avail as her tongue violently jerked forward, pushing the dildo at an angle into me, pulling it out, and repeating this with severe and swift motions. I'd almost forgotten about the center tongue, seemingly unoccupied with any tasks as my asshole and pussy are being simultaneously stimulated, only to feel a familiar dampened pressure on the front of my leg. Sophie's free tongue had wrapped around my body, which began to crumble as I angled my ass upward and slumped down towards the floor, falling on the couple's rug, likely a Venetian. It was very nice, by the way. Sophie's tongue followed the natural shape of my fallen body, wrapping its form around my thigh and again tightly embracing me, all while moving forward and suctioning against my clit. The sensation of being pounded in my ass and in my pussy at the same time was overwhelming, and I had a hazed sense of time or any real understanding of my reality. Fading in time, I woke up to the couple opening their door, naked, with Sophie's cushions back in shape, and with a shrill screaming voice from the woman who'd entered first, dropping her suitcase with a thunderous roar as she let out a "Sophie! I said we can't keep doing this!" The husband, non-reactionary, simply shuffled past and handed me a shirt to cover my womanhood and said calmly and quietly to me, "Look, it's suede. It gets all the pussy. Don't feel hurt. It's not about you." Silently, the entire time, I felt the gaze of Sophie as I managed to find my pants, explain I didn't know what was going on, and generally apologize. "It's fine. It's just not the first time. I'll send you a check in the mail. Get some rest, sweetie," the married woman had said to me, hugging me in a tight embrace like a mother might have under other circumstances. Walking out the door silently, I fled into the night, resuming my daily life, alone and entirely uncertain as to why not all of magic in life stays, or why magic isn't always good compared to normalcy. It was weeks, maybe months later, that I returned to thinking about the day. There were dates, all uneventful, and they were just a general reminder of life's sameness. Walking by chance near the couple's house, a moving van, in the far distance, a generally loud noise came towards the streets. This loudness, however, was interrupted by an extraordinary shuffling that only grew closer from the distance. Like I dreamed of the distance closing. Sophie, moving at what may have very well been sprinting for a couch down the sidewalk, yelled, "I'm finally free! I tried to find you! I waited, I cried so much." It was after a long talk that Sophie confessed her feelings, saying, "I'm a couch. It's not like I could run out the door after you. I waited until they were buying a new house. I scared the movers by talking, and then I ran off." Sophie went home with me that day. The couple calling asked if I ever heard or saw from their pussy-licking suede couch, but a lie, a careful Facebook post asking if anyone could help me move a couch into my apartment, and we were together again. I wouldn't fuck an end table, though, so please don't ask.